Hey guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. So in this video I will be showing you how to make this Ruffliar jumpsuit. I've received a lot of requests on a tutorial for this and I'm finally making it, so I'm excited. Not really the best at making tutorials, but I hope this will help you guys. So let's get into the video. Okay, so to begin with, you will need 3 balls of yarn for a size small, and then for a size medium to extra large you will need 6 balls of yarn, which is 2 balls for each of the colors that you have available. So you have to make sure that you have different shades of the specific color scheme that you're going for, which is one dark shade and then the medium shade and a lighter shade. So yeah, and then you will need your crochet hook. Of course, I'm using a 4mm crochet hook. You will need some scissors. Do not know what these are called, but yeah, I do have embroidery scissors also, but you can use any scissors that you have available and scissors that's close to you. So yeah, let's get into the video. So now we're going to start with the lightest shade of yarn. So I want to start by making a slip knot, and to do that you wrap your yarn around your middle and index finger, put your hook inside the space, and then just put through like that. So I'm going to repeat it again. Wrap your yarn and then insert your hook into the space over there and then pull through the shortest part of the yarn, just like that. So we're going to start by making a chain. For an extra small, you chain 65, a small 70, medium 75, large 80, and extra large 85. So I'm just gonna place the chart over there to show you how many chains you're gonna do. So just follow that and then I'll meet you when you get there. Okay, so now I have my 65 chains. I'm making an extra small here. So now we are going to start with a double crochet. So we're going to first start by chaining 2, 1 and 2, and then we're going to make a double crochet into the 3rd stitch from the hook. Now, in order to make a double crochet, you yarn over, insert your hook into the V. I don't know if you can see it right there. Yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, just like that. So we're going to repeat again. You yarn over, insert your hook into that space over there, yarn over, pull through, then yarn over, pull through 2, and yarn over, pull through 2, just like that. And then we're going to do it one more time. Yarn over, insert your hook on top there. There'll be like a V, so you just insert your hook on top of the V right there. You yarn over, put through, and then yarn over, put through 2, and then yarn over, put through 2, and now we're going to repeat the same thing until you reach the end of the row, and then I'll meet you when we get there. Okay, so now I am left with 1 double crochet. I'm left with 1 double crochet. Yes, I'm gonna insert my hook and then repeat the same process. Yarn over, put through 2, yarn over, put through 2. Yeah, so now we have our double crochet done. This is our first row, by the way. So yeah, and then you have to start counting your chains, and then you start counting from the first double crochet that you did. You do not count the chain 2 that you previously did. No, you start counting from the double crochet, and then you count until you reach the end of the row and make sure you have the same number of stitches. So I did that, I counted. Now we're going to need 5 stitch markers, which I forgot to mention at the beginning of the video. So this stitch marker is what we're going to use, to pinpoint where our mesh stitches are going to start. So I'm going to put a chart over there so that you know where you're starting, and then we're going to start counting from the first double crochet again. So just follow the guide that I will put here so that you know where to place all your stitch markers. Yeah. Now that I have all my stitch markers in place, you're just gonna insert your hook back, and then we are going to start with a mesh stitch until the very first stitch marker. So you chain 2 and then turn your work, and now you will place 1 double crochet into the first stitch, yeah, like that, and then chain 2, and then you'll have to skip 2 stitches and then insert your hook into the 3rd stitch, and then you add 1 double crochet in there, and then again you're gonna repeat the same thing. You're going to have to add chain 2, 1 and 2, and then you'll skip 2 stitches again, and then insert your hook into the 3rd one, make 1 double crochet. I'm tired, guys, but yeah, I chain 2 again and then skip 2, insert your hook into the 3rd stitch. And if you see, I accidentally put my stitch marker in the wrong place because I needed to have 2 empty stitches and then insert my hook into the 3rd double crochet. But yeah, I think I counted my stitches wrong, so we're just gonna take that out and then place it again into the right space, and then we're going to chain 2, skip 2 stitches, insert my hook into where my stitch marker is. Yeah, like that. Yeah, I really hope I'm making sense with the tutorial. It's my first ever tutorial and I'm kind of nervous right now, so I don't even know if I'm like talking too much. So yeah, we're going to make double crochets until you reach the next stitch marker again. Now I'll meet you when we get there. Now that we've reached the stitch marker, we are going to place a double crochet where that stitch marker is, and then we just have to like just take it out. Yeah, and then we're going to chain 2, skip 2 stitches, place your double crochet into the following stitch marker like that, and then take that out and then chain 2 again. Please ignore me, I don't know why I keep on saying and then insert your hook, oh my god, to the following stitch just like that. Yeah, now we're going to place double crochets into the space until we reach the next stitch marker again. Keep on doing that, it's just double crochets, nothing new, and then I'll meet you there. Now that we've reached our last stitch marker, you're going to insert a double crochet. So now we'll start again with the mesh stitch, which means you will have to chain 2, skip 2, insert your hook into the 3rd stitch, and chain 2 again, skip 2 stitches, insert your hook into the 3rd stitch, and then chain 2 again, skip 2 stitches and insert into the 3rd stitch, and for the last time chain 2, skip 2, and then insert your hook into the very last stitch, that one, and then make a double crochet. And now we have our 2nd row complete. Yeah. Okay, so we're going to change color now. Yes, we're going to have to change color, so we'll have to just snip that wool off. You're gonna cut it with your scissors embroidery, or you can just rip it apart if you don't have a scissors close by. Yeah, and I will be showing you how I change colors. So I'm using the medium shade yarn now, which is like the 2nd darkest shade that you got. And yeah, so you take your yarn like that and then pull through like you're trying to make a chain 1, pull through like that, and then pull the shorter end of the lighter shade and also the darker shade, and you just tie the 2 short ends together like that. I really hope I'm making sense. I honestly hope I am making sense. So I will tie that 3 times because 3 times a charm, and I don't want it to break or start falling apart. So just cut that off. And now that we have our new color added, we'll chain 2. Yeah, chain 2 and then turn your work. Now you have to insert your hook into the very first stitch, which is that over there, and we're going to make the mesh stitch. So you're just repeating what we did on the 2nd row. Chain 2, set your hook into the top of that double crochet, and then chain 2 again, insert your hook into that double crochet just like that. Yeah, chain 2, insert your hook into that double crochet just like that. Just keep on following what I'm doing, and then insert your hook into that double crochet, and then you just keep repeating that. And now you're going to make double crochets until you reach the end of the row. So I'll meet you when we get there. Okay, now I'm done with my 3rd row, and as you can see, the pattern is just the same, nothing changes. You just keep on repeating this. And now we're going to continue with the same color, but we're going to just do 2 more rows of the medium shade yarn, and I'll meet you when we get there. Now that I've done my 2 rows, I have a total of 3 rows of medium shade yarn. the medium color shade of yarn. Oh my god. But yeah, we have that, so we'll have to change colors again. So I'm just going to insert my hook into there and cut off the piece of yarn, and then you're going to change color again. You can change it however you want to change, it's all up to you, or you can change the way I explain how to change it. So I'm just gonna like unravel that and take my crochet hook, and just like making a chain, I insert my hook like that, tighten the short ends of each color. I don't know if that makes sense. And then we're going to tighten it. I usually tie it 3 times because 3 times a charm, and you don't want it to break or unravel whilst you're washing it or when you're wearing it, because that would be so embarrassing. So I'm just gonna snip that off, cut it off. And now, okay, I'm cutting it again. Okay, now we'll chain 2. Oh, I was struggling there. Yeah, you chain 2, turn your work, and then repeat the same thing again and do 4 rows of the darker shade of yarn. Okay, so now that we have our 4 rows of the darkest shade of yarn, as you can see, I counted it over there. You're going to now just repeat the same color scheme that we've been doing. So 2 rows of the lighter shade, and then 3 rows of the medium shade, and 4 rows of the darker shade of yarn. And then you do that for the amount of rows that I'm going to put on the screen over here. Now that we're done with our rows, we're gonna make a chain for the bottom part of our garment. So for a size small and extra small, you will chain 9. For a size medium and large, you will chain 12, and size extra large, you will chain 15. So just follow the guide that I will put on top of the screen there to know how many chains you have to make for the size that you're making. So now you are going to attach it to the other side. Attach to the first double crochet, like the first V on top there that you see, you attach and make a slip stitch. To make a slip stitch, you insert, put through, and then put through again, and just tighten it just like that. So now you have to make a chain of 2, 1, 2, and then turn your work, and you're going to make double crochets into every single V that you see there. So when you see the V has 2 arms that touch each other, so you make a double crochet into the top one and you leave the bottom one. I don't know if I'm making sense. And you will just continue making double crochets throughout until you reach your mesh stitch, and I will show you what to do there. I'm now left with 1 more double crochet to insert before I start going off to the mesh stitch. So when you get here, you insert your hook, make double crochet into the first stitch over there, and then insert 2 double crochets into the space, into the mesh stitch space. You're gonna insert 2 double crochets in there, which is 1 and 2, and then make a double crochet into that, and then again insert 2 double crochets into the space in there, the second double crochet, and then you double crochet on top of that double crochet, and then you just keep on repeating this process throughout. Every mesh stitch that you get, you insert 2 double crochets into the space, and then I will meet you at the end of the row. Now that you are done, you will fold your garment in half just like this. So fold it in half just like this, and then take 4 stitch markers and try to look for the center part of the back, and then insert your stitch mark. Okay, insert your stitch marker in the V, and then you repeat the same thing for the front. You try to find the center part and then add your stitch marker. Now what you do after that is take the 2 stitch markers and put them together so that you can find the middle parts of both of the sides, so that you can get an even increase when we're making increases for the shorts. So you do that, place them together, and then try to find the middle stitch there, add your stitch marker, and then you have to do the same thing for the other side. Now you can take out those stitch markers because you won't need them anymore. You're just gonna be making increases on the sides. So now chain 2, and then you turn your work and you make double crochets into every stitch until you reach the stitch marker, and I'll show you what to do when you get there. I'm left with one more double crochet before the stitch marker. So when you get to the stitch marker, you can just take it out, and then you're going to add 2 double crochets into the same stitch. 1 and 2. And then you can place your stitch marker back again. Then you make double crochets until you reach the following stitch marker, and when you get to that stitch marker, you make an increase by adding 2 double crochets into the same stitch. Or you can just take it out. Okay, add 2 double crochets into that same stitch. 1 and 2. Then you place your stitch marker back again, and then make double crochets again until you reach the very last end of the row, and I'll meet you there. I've reached the end of the row, and I'll just make a slip stitch and then tighten to finish off this row. So this is how it's looking so far. You're going to chain 2, turn your work around, and then make double crochets into every single stitch, and when you reach the stitch marker, you make an increase by adding 2 double crochets into the same stitch, and then you just keep on repeating that, and I'll meet you at the end of the row to show you what to do next. So I reached the end of the row, and it was time for me to change colors, which I already did. I chained 2. Now you're gonna make double crochets until you reach the end of the row. Make increases in every stitch marker that you have there, which is only 2, but yeah, and I'll meet you at the end of the row. Now here I'm going to make my slip stitch, tighten. Now you're just going to make your chain 2. So this is how far we've gone so far, and as you can see, the shape is already forming for the bottom part, where our hips are gonna be. Now we are just going to continue making rows, just double crochets, or making increases until you reach the desired length, which I will put again on top there to guide you, so that you know how many stitches you have to do for your size, and I'll meet you there. I just want to apologize, my video cut when I was recording what to do next, but what you do after you're done with your rows is fold your garment in half and try to find the middle part of the front and the back. Add your stitch markers, and now we're going to attach our yarn into the back part, or the half of the back. I don't know if that makes sense, but yes, insert your hook just like that. However you know how to insert. For me, what I usually do is I insert my hook like I'm making a stitch, and then I just pull through like that, then chain 1, chain 1, and then just pull the bottom part and tie the short end with the long end. I usually tie it 3 times just to be extra secure. Then I will trim off the short end, or you can just crochet it in as you are crocheting your double crochets. Okay, so I'll just cut that off. It's tight, it's secure. So now for a size small, you will chain 8 stitches. For a size small and extra small, actually, you will chain 8 stitches. For a size medium and large, you will chain 10, and for a size extra large, you will chain 12 stitches. I will put the guide there so that you know how many chains you have to do for your size. So after you're done with your stitches, just make sure you have the right number by counting, and now you will place you will make a slip stitch there where your stitch marker is on the other side, and then just tighten, and that's how it's looking so far. So I'm counting again to make sure I have the right number of chains, and then you'll chain 2, turn your work, always turn your work, and then just make double crochets all. Okay, we're not gonna turn our work. Okay, cool. Gonna make double crochets all around until you reach the bridge, the crotch area. Okay, so now that I've reached there, I'm just going to add double crochets into the V's like we've been doing. Just added up. Oh my god, just add double crochets into the V's until you reach the end of the row. Okay, so now that I've reached the end of the row, I will slip stitch into that and then just tighten. So now you just keep on repeating this for the next I'm gonna put the amount of rows that you need to do for each size up there, and then you just keep on repeating, and don't forget the color scheme. And I will meet you when you're done actually with the whole leg. Okay, so now this is how it's looking. I'm done with my rows, and hopefully so are you. Okay, now we're just gonna fasten off by chaining one and then cutting along enough and for weaving in later on. Just tighten that, make sure it's tight. So now for the other leg what you do is insert your hook into any V that you see. Like you can insert your hook anywhere you want to insert your hook. So I would just insert my hook in there and then just attach my yarn. This is how I attach my yarn. I think I did explain how to do it, at the beginning when I was attaching the yarn for the other leg or for the crotch area. So you just tie it 3 times a charm just to make sure it does not come off or break or starts falling apart. So just tighten and then just snip that off. There we go. And now you chain 2, insert your hook into the same space, and then do a double crochet into that space over there. And now where you made the chains for your crotch area, you insert your hook on top of each double crochet. There will be space so that you can put your hook inside. You just insert your hook into those spaces and then make a double crochet, and then you keep on making a double crochet until you reach the very end of your row, and I'll meet you when we get there. Now that you are done with this row, you just repeat the same thing like the other leg. Just keep on making double crochets. Don't forget to change your colors if you have to, and then I'll meet you at the end, meet you when I get there. So this is how it's looking so far. We're done with the base. Actually, we're done with the jumpsuit already. We just left the pockets and adding ruffles on top there. Now let's start with our pocket. So what you do is hold your yarn, the short end, with your thumb and your index, and then you wrap your yarn around your index and middle, make it go over and under the first strap, and then make it go under, pull through, and then pull through. I don't know how to explain this, but you can watch a tutorial on how to make a magic ring. Chain 2, then you're going to make 3 double crochets into that space, and then chain 2, and then you make 3 double crochets, which is 1, 2, and 3, and then chain 2 again, and then make 3 double crochets into the space again, and then chain 2, and then add your last set of 3 double crochets. So you should have a total of 4 sets of 3 double crochets. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then you take the yarn and then just tighten that as tight as you can. Just don't pull it too much. Now chain 2, insert your hook into the first V, not into the chain 2, but into the first V, the first double crochet. You insert your hook and then make a slip stitch. There we go. So now that's how it's looking so far. So now you would just cut that off and then insert your medium color shade of yarn. In my case, it's the charcoal gray, and then you just switch colors just like that. Tighten the short end, and then you just tie the two short ends together and then cut it off. So now you chain 2, then turn your work, and then insert your hook into that space. You're going to put 3 double crochets. So now we are making our first corner. 3 double crochets, chain 2, and insert 3 double crochets into the same space. So now we have our next corner. Now to go to the next corner, you chain 1. I think I made a mistake in my speaking, but anyways, chain 1, then insert your double crochet, put 3 double crochets, and then chain 2, add 3 double crochets again, and that's our second corner. To go to our next corner, you chain 1, insert 3 double crochets into that space, chain 2, 3 double crochets. Chain 1, and then again our last corner, 3 double crochets, chain 2, 3 double crochets into the same space. Chain 1, and then make a slip stitch into the first double crochet into the top V, the first double crochet, and then just tighten, and that's how it's looking. So now we'll just snip that off and add our darkest shades. In my case, I'm using black. So you just have to attach the yarn just like we've been attaching the yarn, or the way you've been attaching the yarn. And then I'm just gonna tie that 3 times and just cut it off. Always cut them off. Just cut. That's better to cut off, your loose ends, so that you don't have to have so many things to weave in later on. And your chain 2, turn your work, and then add 3 double crochets into that space. 1, 2, and then 3. Then you chain 1, and then when you get to your corner, you add 3 double crochets, chain 2, and then 3 double crochets. Always note that where you make your chain 2, that's where your corner is supposed to be. So here I'm adding my 3 double crochets, and then chaining 2, and then adding my 3 double crochets again for my corner. Chain 1, and then that's not our corner, so we're just gonna add 3 double crochets into that space, and then 3, then chain 1, and then again by our corner 3 double crochets, chain 2, 3 double crochets, and then you keep on repeating the same thing until you reach the very last end of the row, and I'll show you what to do next. Okay, so I have reached the end of my row. I'm going to make my slip stitch and then tighten. So this is how it's looking so far. Now you're going to keep on repeating the same thing for the next 2 rows, the same color. So this is how it's going to look like. You're gonna need 3 rows of the black. So we already did 1 row, you just left 2 more rows to do. Here I've done my rows. Now I will show you what to do next. So now you just have to attach your yarn, and then we're going to make half double crochets throughout. And make half double crochets. So to make a half double crochet, you're gonna chain 1, insert your hook into that first space, and then yarn over, pull through all 3 loops, and then repeat the same thing, yarn over, insert your hook into the top V of the first double crochet that's there, and then put through all three, and then you just keep on repeating this. So any spaces that you have, chain one spaces, you just add one double crochet, and then into every 3 double crochets that are there, you just place your half double crochet. Keep on repeating that until you reach the corner, and when you get by the corner, you add 2 double crochets, 2 half double crochets, my bad, chain one, and then add 2 half double crochets again, and then you just keep on repeating this until you reach the very last end of the row. I really hope I'm making a lot of sense. If not, please let me know in the comments. Now when you get to the end of your row, you just make your slip stitch and then just tighten that, and this is how it's looking so far. Chain one and then fasten off. You're gonna just snip that off, and then you just fasten off. Just make sure it's tight. This is how our pocket is looking like. And now you repeat the same thing with the other pocket. You need 2 pockets for this, obviously. And then yeah, so now I'll have to show you how to make the pocket flap of the pocket. This is how our pocket flap is going to look like. I already made this off camera, and I'll show you how to make the second one. In order to do this, you'll start by making a slip knot. Yes. And then you chain the specific number of chains that I'll put on the screen here for the specific size that you are making. So now that I have the number of chains that I need, you insert your hook into the 3rd stitch from the hook. So you just count 1, 2, and then into the 3rd stitch. That's where you're going to insert your hook with a double crochet, and then you insert that, and then you just make your first double crochet. You just keep on making double crochets until you reach the very last end of the row, and I'll meet you there. Okay, now that I've reached the end of my row, we'll start making decreases here. So you chain one. I meant to say chain one. I don't know why I chain two, but you chain one, then turn your work. And to make a decrease, you will skip the first stitch. Okay, there we go. You will skip the first stitch and then insert into the second one with a double crochet. So skip that and then insert your hook into the next one and make a double crochet. And then you keep on repeating the same thing until you're left with 2 stitches, and then I will show you what to do next. Okay, now that you're left with 2 stitches, you skip the first one and then insert your hook into the very last one, and that's our next decrease. Chain one, turn your work, and again skip your first stitch and insert into the second one and make your double crochet. Keep on making your double crochet until you reach the very last end of the row. To make the decrease there, you skip the first and then insert into the very last one. Now you keep on repeating this for a total number of rows that I'll put on the screen here for the specific size that you are making. Now that I have the amount of rows that I need, we are going to make single crochets all around the pocket flap. So to make a single crochet, you just insert your hook into any available space that you find there, and then you put through and then just put through. So insert your hook, yarn over, put through, and then you keep on repeating this all around the sides of the pocket flap, and I'll meet you at the end. Okay, now I reached the end. I've done my slip stitch and then just tighten, chain one, and then you're going to fasten off just to make sure the thing is tight. And this is how our flap is looking. Now it's time for us to add the ruffles around it. So in order to add the ruffles, you take your secondary yarn. In my case, I'm using the charcoal gray, so you take your medium shade yarn and just make ruffles all around the ruffles except for the top part, because that's where we're going to be sewing it in. Okay, so now you insert your hook into the corners. Into the corner, just like I'm doing over here. Insert your hook and then take your yarn and just attach it there, however you know how to attach it. I'm just going to attach my yarn and I'm going to attach my yarn. I'm doing a voiceover right now, so oh my god, please bear with me. And then just chain one, then I'll just tie that to be safe, to be secure. Tie 3 times and then just snip the short end off, just cut it off, which I didn't show here, but anyways. And then you're going to chain 2. Now to make the ruffles, you insert 3 double crochets into every single stitch. So I'm going to add my first set of 3 double crochets into that space where I attached my yarn. 1, 2, and 3. There we go. And into the next one we're going to attach another set of 3 double crochets, which is 1, 2, and 3. And you keep on repeating this, just attaching 3 double crochets into every stitch until you reach the corner of the pocket flap. Okay, so this is how our pocket flaps are looking with the ruffles, that you can see. But yeah, if you want your ruffles to be more tighter and just more together, you just have to add 4 or 5 double crochets into the same stitch into the pockets, and then you're just gonna have to weave in the ends. So this is how I weave in my ends. You need your weaving end needle, that's what it's called. And then you just have to insert it into any space that you can, insert it into, and just put it in like that. You put through, oh my god, please excuse my voice. Do the same thing here, and then just put through and then put through again, insert, and then you just put through. It can get stuck in there, you just have to put a little bit of force, but not so much force. So I'm just gonna put that back, and then now we're gonna go back and then skip the first place where we put through, and then insert into the next one, and then you just go there and then put through, and then just cut it off, and we're done. And then you're just gonna weave in the rest of your ends, and I'll meet you when you're done. Okay, so now it's time for us to add ruffles to the top of our jumpsuit. First is we're going to make single crochets throughout, so I will attach my yarn into that space over there. I don't know if you can see it, but on top of your first double crochet is where you insert your hook. I really hope I'm making sense. And then you put the color that you are gonna put. I'm going to attach my yarn into that space over there on top of that double crochet that's there. I don't know if you can see it, just like that. I'm going to attach my yarn. You're using your medium shade yarn for this part, and I'm just gonna chain 2 and then tighten, and then just tie that, and then cut off the ends. Okay, so now for the single crochets, you are going to insert your hook into the stitches on top of the double crochets like that. I don't know if you can see that, but you just insert your hook on top of the double crochets, because in our case here we don't have any V's, so just insert it on top of the double crochet like that into that space, and then you make your single crochet just like that, and then make your next single crochet into the next stitch, and then you keep on doing this until you reach the end of the row, and I will show you what to do next. Now we are going to start with our ruffles. So chain 2, turn your work, and you're gonna do the same thing that you did for your pocket flap, which is adding 3 double crochets into the same stitch. 2 and 3, and then you add another 3 double crochets into the next stitch, the last one, and you just keep on repeating the same thing, 3 double crochets into every single stitch until you reach the very last end of the row, and I will meet you there. Now that we are done with our ruffles on top, this is how our jumpsuit should look like. Now it's time for us to attach the pocket. So what you do is fold your pocket in half like this so that you can put it side by side on your jumpsuit to try and figure out where you want it. So for me, I will just try and see. Okay, anyways, I will put my pocket flap. Oh god, I don't think you can see, can you? My camera is kind of off. But yeah, you take your folded pocket and then put it like that, kind of like putting a ham in between a sandwich. I don't know if that makes sense. Just like that. There we go. And then you'll put your stitch markers in place so that so that it doesn't move. Yeah, you just take your stitch markers. It can be anything. You can even take yarn and just tie it on there if you don't have any stitch markers. Now just put it there. You just add stitch markers on all corners, on the front and the back, and you just repeat the same thing for the other side of the pocket, and then I'll show you what to do next. So this is how it's looking so far with all stitch markers in place. Now it's time for us to sew the pocket in place. I don't know if I am going to explain this process properly, but I really hope you guys will understand that. So what you do is, obviously take a long enough strand of yarn that you think would be enough for the sewing of the pocket, just the bottom part, or the whole pocket is fine. And then you take out your stitch markers on the top there and just place them back, but don't attach them to the pocket. I don't know if that makes sense. Just do what I'm doing. Then I'm gonna take out this one also, and then just attach it in place where it was, like that. And then you're going to flip your pocket like this. Okay, I'm just going to take out the stitch marker. I'm also going to take out the other and just put that in place there. And then I'll take out the other stitch marker as well and just put it in place so I know where to put my pocket flap. Just like that. And now you take your pocket. You're going to start sewing it the other way around. So I don't know if I'm gonna make sense, but I hope I explained this properly, and I hope you do understand that. So we're gonna place our pocket like that, and then when you fold it over, it's gonna have like some bulkiness, just a little bit of bulkiness at the bottom, just like that. It's gonna create that illusion. So you place your pocket, put the stitch marker in place so that it does not move at all, like that. Do the same thing for the other side. Okay, so now we are going to sew I'm going to take out that stitch marker and start sewing our pocket to the jumpsuit, and I'm going to be placing my needle in there. It's actually easy to see because in between every single row there's like a line that you can see there, so you just insert your hook into the spaces there and then you sew just like this. Or you sew, you can always sew however you're comfortable with, however you feel like is best, but for me this is how I do it. So after tying the yarn together, I'm just gonna cut the short end and start sewing. So now I insert my hook into the V there, through that and into that line in between the 2 rows of my jumpsuit. And then I'll take my yarn that's on the needle, make it go over the needle, and then sew like that. And I'll just keep on repeating the same thing over and over until I reach the end of the row. So just keep on doing that, and I'll meet you at the end of the row to show you what to do next. Now that we've reached the end, you're just gonna cut the yarn off and just fasten it. Somehow my 2 strands got mixed together, so I'll just use the other one to tie the thingy in place so that it doesn't come off. Okay, so this is how it's looking now. We're done. Now you're just gonna flip your pocket back, and can you see that bulkiness that's being created there? Now just take my stitch marker out and then place it on the pocket and attach it there again, and I'll show you how to sew the side of the pocket. There we go. Okay, so again, take your yarn. If it's enough, you can still use it. I still have enough, so I'm just gonna use the same one that I used for the bottom part. Now for this, we're just going to repeat the same thing, but then now you just have to find a way to line your pocket so to make it straight with the stitches that are there. So I'm just gonna be gonna insert my needle into any space that I can between those stitches, and then just place it in and then place it in the V like that, and then pull in the same place again, and then put the yarn over the needle. Now I'm just gonna tie those two ends together so I can fasten it and tighten, just like that. Tie 3 times, which I'm sure you guys are tired of hearing me say, and you can cut that small piece off. I'll do that later. So I'm just gonna start sewing normally, just like just like that. I'm just gonna keep on sewing until I reach the top there, and then you're gonna repeat the same thing to the other side of the pocket, and also do the same thing that you did for this pocket with the other pocket, and I'll get back to you when it's time to add the flap. This is how our pockets are looking now. We're done, and they're big enough to place anything, but don't put coins in it because they're gonna drop off. They're gonna fall off since it's got holes in it. But yeah, now it's time to put the pocket flaps there. To do that, you are going to put your jumpsuit like this, take your flap pocket and then put it on top there, not so far from the pocket, just a little bit above, so that you can have space there. So I'm just gonna stretch this out so I can put this thing straight, put the flap straight. Oh no, I can't speak properly, my tongue is twisting, but yeah. Okay, so we're gonna do that. Put our pocket flap like that. Make sure the ruffles are going over the main pocket, and then we're just gonna put our stitch marker there, and you do the same thing with the other stitch marker, and then when you fold it, it's gonna look like that. See? Yeah. Now you're gonna repeat the same thing to the other pocket flap. You just put the stitch markers and keep it in place there. Now we're gonna start sewing. So to start sewing, obviously get your needle, put in your thread, and now using the double crochets as your guide, you are going to start sewing your pocket flap in place. I really do not know how to explain this process because I'm so bad at this, but if you look in between your rows, you have that straight line there. That's where you're going to be inserting your needle, and that's where you're gonna attach your pocket flap. So I will do that on top there, just like that. Now hold it in place so that it does not disturb me, and I'm just gonna keep on sewing. So you insert your needle into those lines, the spaces in between the double crochets and between the rows, and then make it go into the pocket flap, into the V's on top of the double crochets. I don't know if that's making sense, but yeah, you just do that and you keep on sewing throughout. You keep on sewing. You see on that line over there, that's where you're going to be sewing. Then you just keep on sewing until you reach the next stitch marker. You fasten off, tie, and then you repeat. You just repeat what you did here with the other pocket flap, and then you'll be done. So I'm just gonna do this and meet you at the end. Okay, now that we're done with the other pockets, this is how the jumpsuit is supposed to look like. Ruffly and just cute. We're done. Now we're just left with the straps that are gonna go over our shoulders and also behind to create that corset backless type of thing. So here's a close-up. Now what you have to do is you have to get the end of your jumpsuit there where I'm holding, and then just take it to the middle part there and just align it so that you can be able to find the center over here. This is where my middle part is, and I'm just going to insert my hook in there, attach my yarn. See, okay, we have the middle part there. Attach our yarn there. I will be using the same color as the one that I used for the ruffles, which is my medium shade. Now attach my color there. Okay, I do not know what I was talking about there, but anyways, attaching our color there, and then yeah, okay, just like that, and then we tighten that. And now we're going to make a chain of, I think, 200 for a size extra small and small, and then for the other sizes you can just look at my guideline here to guide you. If that's a guideline, oh my god, the box up there, like, it's gonna tell you how many chains you have to make for the size that you are making. Then you have to do the same thing for the other side. Fortify the center and then make your chains, and I'll meet you at the end. Now that I'm done making my chains, we are going to start making the crisscross pattern at the back. I'm just gonna put my sides together like this, and then yeah, I'll start making my crisscross. So I'll just take this part and then insert it into the first straw up there, the gray one, not the mesh one at the bottom, but the one on top. I'm going to insert my, I'm gonna insert it there, just like that, and then just leave a little bit space, just leave some for the strap that's gonna go over your arms or over your shoulders. And then you do the same thing to the other side. Now for me, you can count as many stitches as you want, it depends. For me, I'm just gonna count 4 from the bottom of where I last put it, and then insert the chains there. And then you keep on repeating this, keep on doing this until you reach the end, and I'll show you what to do. Okay, so now that we've reached the bottom part, it's time for us to just make it go into there for our waist, so that you can be able to adjust it depending on how tight or loose you want it to be. So what you do is count how many stitches you have, or you can just put the ends together and just try to find the middle part, just like, see, like this. Yeah, and then find the middle part, and I'll just put my stitch marker over there so that you can hold it in place for me, also I don't lose it. There we go. And now take your needle, or you can also use a crochet hook. I'll show you how to do both. So you take your needle, take your needle and then put it inside there, and then we start putting it in, out, or top, bottom, top, bottom, top, bottom, just like that, until you reach the stitch marker, and just make it go. And you do the same thing, there we go. And then you do the same thing for the crochet hook. You'll put it not where the first one went, but then just on the next stitch you just do that, top, bottom, top, bottom, top, bottom, until you get there. Oh, okay, I made a mistake there. Yeah, just put it there, and then just take that and then pull it through there. There we go. So then we're done. Like, we're done with our jumpsuit. Now all you have to do is just cut off the ends. You just have to tighten it. Just make sure it's tight, and then you can snip it off. You can always bend it if you want. It's up to you. I'm just going to weave in my ends there, and we're done. Okay, so we are finally done with the jumpsuit, and this is how it's looking. This is the original. Same thing, twinsies. But yeah, thank you so much for watching my YouTube tutorial. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope I was helpful enough. And if you see here, I did add like the square here just to hide the nipples part, because it's kind of see through the stitch. You can do that with your jumpsuit if you want, or you can just make like circles and just place them in whenever you wear the jumpsuit. So yeah, hope you guys enjoyed. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in my next video, hopefully. it'll be better than this one. But yeah, bye.